birds are moving in. Just wanted to show you guys some of the odd places the birds are starting to build their nests here. So we've got our storage shed here. I know it's a mess. This is something I'm working on today, actually, to try to get this place, this farm cleaned up, because this farm is just, oh, it's been neglected too long, and I've got a lot of stuff just everywhere. So we're trying to clean stuff up. But anyway, look at this. Here's a helmet, right? Kind of a really cool little nest here. You see, it's kind of inside the helmet, right? And if you look down in there, you have some eggs. Not sure if you're able to see that here. Oh, there they are. Yeah, several eggs. You can see how deep down inside that is, and then it's right up against the wall, so nice and protected. It's actually a pretty ingenious little nest setup. And here we have the weed eater that I need to work on, and we have a little nest inside of the shield, and a couple robin eggs in there. So I just thought that was kind of cool how the birds are finding little nooks and crannies and stuff, and we'll just leave them alone and let them hatch their little hatchlings and stuff. I'll clean this shed up, but definitely not going to touch any of the bird nests. Leave them be. Outside this morning, beautiful day. Doing some feeding, getting rid of some scraps, cleaning out the fridge, getting all the animals taken care of. So our dumb mistakes, hopefully we've learned from them, and we've figured out kind of a method that we can do to introduce our chicks, and hopefully it will save you from having to go through the same mistakes that we did. So we start out by letting them all sort of free range together. They have a whole bunch of wide open space. You know, we make sure the little ones are old enough that they can run and get away, but they're outside. They got a ton of space. They can't be trapped and picked on. And the other ones are pretty busy, kind of free grazing and stuff. They're not too interested in messing with the chicks. So this is kind of the ample time to let them sort of get to know each other and free range together. And we sort of keep an eye on them during that time. So I'm going to try to get them to come to kind of the same little social circle per se. This is Chicks Mix forage seed mixture, and it's good for them, good for their eggs, and it's developed for free range chickens. Now if they don't eat it all on this pad right here, then it'll start to germinate inside this and end up essentially just growing, and they really like the little greens and stuff that come up too. So it's a win-win here. To see if I can get them all to come up, get the little baby chicks to come up, and they can all sort of eat together. Yeah, I mean, they're gonna get a few pecks. I mean, it's literally the pecking order. So, I mean, they gotta find themselves. The goal is to not get so much pecking that it's, detrimental to their health or kills them. So, kind of just a slow little, like, finding their way into the pecking order and getting introduced to the other hens. Gotta throw in some of this grub Terra black soldier fly larvae in here too, just get the other ones kind of coming in, give them some good nutrition here. We've got some salad here for the pig with some peppers and a little bit of leftover spaghetti here. A nice little diverse meal here. Check on our baby birds here. Some feathers on them now. Getting all grown up. They're good spring lambs here. Getting nice and fat on all this green grass here. Yeah.
He is kind of like a Houdini. Hey.
Hey, don't do that. Don't do that.
Get out. Get goats, they said.
So we're here at our 10-acre farm, our off-grid farm. We like to call it the White House because there's this old White House there. So jokingly, we call it the White House, right? And so my vision or my goal here is, you can see behind me is kind of essentially a hayfield, just this wide open field. And what I want to do is I want to turn this into give it some more diverse ecology. So I've got a huge bundle of some native trees and shrubs, everything from elderberry, wild plums, and then we're going to also institute some non-native stuff, you know, apple trees, pear trees, things like that, some fruit-bearing trees. So everything that I plant here will be, you can eat it as a person, and you can, you know, make products from it as a person, and in an agricultural standpoint. But it also, you know, is something that's going to be attractive for wildlife as well, whether it be bees for pollination, or deer and turkey and other birds and stuff underneath eating, and rabbits and all that. So it's good for the wildlife. It's good for us. It's sort of like a food forest. That's sort of what I see in the future here. And so the thing about it too is, what I want to achieve is to have underneath be mostly forbs, grasses and forbs, native grasses and forbs. And so what I see in the future is us being able to harvest this fruit from the trees, and the waste goes to the ground. We can put up our portable fences like we do now, our portable electric fences, and we can use rotational grazing just like we do now, underneath of these trees and in these pastures. So we can bring the sheep and the goats in to come up, clean up the understory, eat all the excess things underneath, as well as feed on the forbs. And before they get to where they're destroying the land, we move them to a different spot. And so again, rotational grazing, we don't want to destroy the land, we just want to kind of keep it manicured somewhat by also feeding our livestock. So in turn, we're producing fruit and other products from our fruit trees, and as well as livestock. So it's kind of a multi-purpose space per se. So, and it's not detrimental in any way, you know, to the wildlife around, because the wildlife, you know, when it's not in use, they're gonna get all this extra fruit that falls to the ground and stuff. There's no way that we could possibly eat it. And even if we harvested all of it and sold it, it would be too much for us to do that. So there's just no way we could harvest it all. So a lot of it's gonna go, not to waste, but we're not gonna use it. The wildlife are gonna get to use it. And so they'll also have cover and things like that. And the native pollinators will have, you know, a lot of fruit-bearing trees and fruit and flowers to use as well. So that's my plan. The first thing we got to do is I want to mow some rows so we can kind of get everything planted and it doesn't have as much competition with this grass, and we can get a little jump start on it. So I've got the DR mower here, and we're just going to make some strips up and down and mow some strips.